Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out the latest patch notes for Heroes of Hammerwatch 2. I'm currently downloading the patch now. I'm really excited. Supposedly this is a really big one. So build 125. Let's go ahead and scroll down and see what's here. Added spell mastery mechanic unlocked by finding a new NPC in dungeons in NG1. Okay. I'm really interested to see what that's all about. I'm gonna guess that this spell mastery works the same way as weapon mastery does, where you can like level up individual spells and make them better. I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we get in there. Donating resources to the chapel now gives town-wide permanent buffs like the class titles. These can be seen in the titles menu, and donation is done both by dying in a mission and through donating resources directly at Tier 5 Chapel. Town-wide permanent buffs. I like the sound of that. Each point of strength now gives armor penetration. Okay, that's interesting. I have to wonder, if that's both for weapon damage and spell damage. I'm going to assume so. Dexterity and intelligence crit damage scaling changed from linear to decaying growth. Below 400 dex int, this is a buff, but beyond that, they start to fall off. Interesting. I know that a lot of people were switching to like intelligence builds because crit was scaling better than regular weapon damage, so I'm thinking that's what they're doing to address that issue. Holding down a button in the attribute assigner and material trader UIs now repeat the press to minimize annoying repeat clicking. Okay, that's good. There's anything to save on carpal tunnel, I guess. Material Trader UI now lets you change how much to trade at a time. I hope at some point, maybe this is listed down further, I don't know. I really want a enchantment trader, so I don't have to keep grinding out enchantment material at the cathedral. Mission loadout NG plus picking now rolls around, so doing NG plus at 0 picks the highest. Okay. That's cool. Fixed Girdle of Might attunement being broken. I had no idea it was broken, but that's good to know. Fix for Barracks Trap Room that can break level layout. Again, didn't know that was a thing, but okay. Fixed Enchanting menu for broken enchanted items of insightfulness. Okay. Fixed being able to buy the same enchant multiple times, wasting resources. Yeah, considering how expensive enchanting is, I can see that being a problem, so I'm glad they fixed it. Chests no longer give primary stat equipment and instead bases it on what you've picked for attributes. Okay. So I'm thinking what that means is when you're on a run and you get a gear from a chest or something, I'm wondering if it looks at your stats and goes, "Oh, you're a bowcaster, your dexterity, your strength, you should get this thing." That's what I think that means, but don't quote me on it. Fix for Warriors Killing Spree, Dauntless being broken. Fixed Prospector's Pride drink. Summons now respawn faster on level switch. Okay. Disabled multiplayer drop-in Avatar boss fight and Citadel shortcut. Okay. That must have been an exploit at some point. Lowered enchant cost scaling, so it is a bit cheaper at higher levels. Okay, that's good to know. Increased dust crystal NG scaling from 10%. So in the last patch, they actually increased how much like dust and crystal, the enchanting materials you got from like every NG. Now they increased it further because I guess people were still complaining about it, which understandable. Trinkets debuffs like bleed, etc. now scale with spell power. Okay. I like that. Fixed issue with the Mysterious Citadel achievement would not be awarded if you already found the Architect, forcing you to start a new save to get it. I don't care about achievements. Unless that was like an in-game achievement that gets you something, but I don't think so. Added spell tags to Wolf Companion, Summon Fiends, Gargoyle Servant, Conjure Hydras, Animated Sword, Demon's Tail. So spell tags. Okay, so that's good. That way anything that, buffs spells in general would also buff them as well. Armor. Okay, this worked. Okay. Armor and resistance has been reworked a bit in order to increase the difference between having high and low armor res. In general, this is a buff to armor res bonuses and a buff to the armor res penetration mechanics. Negative armor and resistance is no longer half as powerful as positive armor. It used to be that negative 100 armor only gave half the debuff, and positive 100 armor gave it as a buff. Armor and resistance penalties from New Game Plus now lowered. Negative 120 and negative 65 to match negative armor efficiency change. Okay, so that's good. There were some really high NG penalties. It looks like they fixed that. That's good. Armor and resistance penetration remade to be a percentage based instead of just a constant offset. Penetration can no longer push armor below 0. Okay. Adjusted enemy and boss resistance values and scaling to match changes in armor and resilience, or resistance rather. Okay. And lowered curse armor resistance penalty from 4 plus 1 times, and there's a formula here, but they lowered the penalty, the curse penalty. Okay, so it looks like they gave everyone just a survival buff, because unless you were really powerful DPS, you typically couldn't survive some of the harder enemies because of curse or whatnot. Hopefully they address curse as well. Enemies. Introducing new Bannerman enemies to Dark Citadel in New Game Plus. Okay, I look forward to seeing that. Ranger enemies in Dark Citadel now scale up their attacks in New Game Plus. Made Avatar Phase 3 deal slightly less damage, and Phase 1 slightly more damage. Lowered damage for crossbow and barracks. Okay. Increased damage for archers and courts, and slightly increased how fast lightning wizards and courts build up their oh man. See, they nerfed them in the last patch, but I guess that was 2 nerfs, so they had to up it. Okay. Weapons. All weapons above tier 1 now also do damage based on character attributes. So for example, swords now do a bit more damage depending on your strength. Okay, that was one of the main issues here. Weapon damage was not ideal. Like spell power was it. So it looks like they buffed weapon damage. Weapon masteries increased to 5% bonus damage instead of 3%. That's at the weapon mastery guy. If you pick daggers, for example, you get 3%, 3%, 3%. Now it's 5%, 5%, 5%. That's good. Dexterity bows, secondary attack changed from power shot to arrow volley. Oh, interesting. Strength bow power shot now shoots 3 arrows instead of 1 and goes a little bit longer. Added 10% armor pen to crossbow bolts. Crossbows were already great. Increased crossbow explosive shot explosion size a little. Okay, yeah, crossbows got a buff all around. That's really good. I think that's to compensate for the fact that crossbows, for whatever reason, don't have that bow tag, unless they fix that too and it's not listed here. But yeah, crossbows don't have the bow tag. So anyway, wizard, barrier, frost shell, bonus lowered. So they nerfed the frost shell on the wizard barrier. Lowered Incanter's flow mana cost reduction and cast speed increase. So they nerfed Incanter's flow from the one spec. That was the evocation, I think it was. Enhanced physique no longer gives intelligence. So enhanced physique is that skill that gives you strength, dexterity, and intelligence per character level. So now you're no longer a walking arcane missile machine. So now you're meant to be like a battle mage now with that. So I can see this no longer being an endgame spec. I mean, unless you go all strength and dexterity with your wizard. So that's an interesting switch. Ranger fixed a bug where entangle healing wisps weren't mutually exclusive. Okay. Lowered Wind Reaver cooldown. Okay, that's even better. Increased Wolf Companion attack speed. Sped up Rain of Arrows a little. Lowered Archery fast shot skill speed bonus from 10, 20, 40 to 10, 20, 30. Okay, so Ranger got a buff most all around here. That's not bad. Paladin, Lawbringer. Punish the Wicked no longer does a damage increase against sliced, disarmed enemies, and instead drop Judgment Hammers on them. Okay. Changed Paladin's Inner Flames. Flames of Devotion to add damage per character level instead of flat damage. That's a reason to switch to that spec. That's really good. Lowered Paladin's Inner Flames max amount from 7 to 5. Okay, so they nerfed it, but they also buffed it. Okay, Sorcerer. Now this is the last part. Ice Mastery. Ice Block now shoots 3 shards of Ice Nova when blocking an attack. Lots of changes. I look forward to jumping into the game and seeing some of this new stuff, so maybe you'll see that in a video or two in the next couple of days. But for now, this is Vince. Thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all next time. Take care.